hear me now? Yes, no, no. Okay, let me just. So I'm not going there. Hello.
Yep, yep, I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, we've resolved that situation. This so now. All right then. So, Grand Rising is my sister.
Grand
Grand
Rising,
Rising.
Brother Aston.
All right. Hold on, just a moment. Right. Got you. Got you. Got you. All right. Are you know? Are you know? Greetings, greetings, and grand risings to all, one and all of the Galaxy family. I'm still not 100% yet, but I'm feeling a lot much better than what I was the other day with this flu thing going on, you know. So it's just easing its way through my body, and I think I'm on the last piece of it now for the next couple of days. Anyway, anyhow, grand risings, welcome to the galaxy of Fui.net. And we are here live in the studio. We also joined by our Sister Sandra. She resides right now in Jamaica as well. Oh my word! And she gets up at. She's still awake at 2 o'clock a morning.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Oh
One
gosh,
o'clock.
1 o'clock. So it's not so. It's I say it's not so bad, but it's still in the
It will
middle.
get to 2 o'clock by the time as we go through the show. So all great.
Yeah. Anyhow, listen, we fully appreciate your presence right here with us, here on the
Thank
Galaxy.
you.
But I do anyhow because boy, we don't know how my throat would hang out for the rest of this morning, yeah. And as that I had a busy weekend here last couple of days, so attending some studying business, personal study and
Mm-hmm,
business. So,
mm-hmm,
you know, pushing the barriers of this existence right here, right now.
mm-hmm.
Anyway, welcome one and all. Right now, if you wish to join us today, right, let me give out those numbers straight away of 0203-289-6504. Okay, so you can join us in the conversation directly. And you can always text or WhatsApp message on 079 Also, if you would like to and you would prefer to, you can always watch us and interact with us directly via the Facebook as well. So if you go on there and you see the Blacknificent Show on the Facebook, you can just join in and watch us there and interact with us directly, and the messages will come up here in the studio, and also on the on the YouTube as well, right? I have to find if the Galaxy have their own YouTube channel, so that we can link it in that way. But for now, you can link us through the Black Nicholson radio show on the YouTube as well, right? So, and I would encourage you to subscribe as well, so that you can get all the notifications of all of our programs as we broadcast as well. Sister Sandra, good
Greetings,
greeting,
greetings.
greetings, good night, and I know that you had a hard day as well. So you know what? Let's get on with the show today.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah? Let's get on with the show today. Well, it look like you've been sun tanning Maximus out there right now. Hmm?
We've had some really good. weather.
Mm.
So one of the presenters I listened to on the over here in Jamaica says we shouldn't necessarily be talking about drought
Mm-hmm.
because, to be fair, Jamaica doesn't have a drought like some countries will have no water. Where they be on the African continent, they'll have no water for months on end.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, if we're using the word drought and using it as a dictionary definition, that's what he would prefer us not to use that word loosely.
Mm.
But yeah, we've had some very dry spells. There are still problems or issues or challenges in some parts of the island. We are also having a dry spell in Portland.
Mm.
When we get rain, we're not necessarily getting rain for any length of period or any long length of period. It's normally for a shorter period. But yeah, yesterday I sat on the veranda. We were going to go up to Moortown, and my mum. It was a case of back in the day when you were traveling on a Sunday, you used to always have to think about it and make sure you had your own vehicle. Now it's not as bad, but I'm also very mindful that Sunday is very much of a relaxed day over here, in so much as the transport from point A to point B. So we were going to go up to Moortown yesterday and we chose not to. Well, I chose not to because when I phoned a taxi man, he was quoting me. So the first conversation he had, because he didn't necessarily know who I was asking whether or not I wanted to go up to Nanny Falls. And that is a waterfall in or around the area within Moortown. So then he was working out, do I want to go to Nanny Falls? And then he was working out which hotel or which guest house am I staying at. So once he had established A, I didn't want to go to Nanny Falls, and B, I wasn't staying in a guest house. And he worked out where I was staying, and he said, yep, he understood where I was. So one mind said, just ask him, what's he going to charge you? So when he told me the price, if I was standing up, I would have sat down. And if I was sitting down, as I almost fell off my chair because I thought to myself, you're charging me a price that's way above what I was thinking I was going to pay. So he then said, what price do I want? Would I charge? Was I prepared to pay? So I went half of what he said. So he said 10, so I said 5. And he said, there's no way you can take me up there for 5. And I thought to myself, there's no way I'm going to go up there for 10. So can we negotiate? No, sorry, I said 4. Thinking then that he said 10, I said 4, we'd better negotiate. And we'd get somewhere in the middle. I possibly would have gone up to 7 maximum. I would have done that begrudgingly because one of the conversations he had was, is he going to stick around? And I thought, okay, if you stick around, I get that. Then I was doing the maths. So had it been me, it would have cost me there and back 300, 100, 500, $700 there and back. So it's me and my mother, so it'd been $1,400 there and back. And he wanted 10,000. I couldn't justify the need to go up there for 10,000. So didn't happen. So I came back. So Mum sat down effectively most of the day on the veranda, which was beautiful because it was a beautiful day. It was absolutely a beautiful day. Just down the road, there was someone having an event. So they were playing some good old time tunes. And again, you could sit on the veranda. There was no need to put on anything because the tunes that they were playing was good tunes. Even my mum was saying where did they get some of those tunes from, because they were playing some good old time tunes. So I was haunted. So I thought I'd wanted to do some baking. So I went and rustled up a case. So I was doing all right with the figures, with the flour, the sugar, the march, beating it as I cinnamon, the little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then my hand got away with me. And I added some alcohol,
Yeah.
which I shouldn't have added.
No, no, no. You need to call me then.
Yes, what was it? It was
Sprinkle here, sprinkle there.
Stone's ginger wine, which that's the one thing I should have added. So the rum was okay. The red label wine or the bulk wine was okay. So Stone ginger wine was the tipped it over the element. So it can eat. It's not going to poison you, but it leaves a taste in the mouth. And what that taught me was sometimes when you've got the ingredients and it works, and when you're baking, just follow the ingredients.
Mm,
Don't aim to be smart.
too much.
Don't. If you're going to do a little something, something, do it a little something, something on a smaller scale. Don't do a little something, something on a big scale. If you're going to experiment, because there is time for experiment. To be fair, there is time for experiment. With all types of food, there's time to, and that's how we get the cookbooks. That's how we get the culinary explosions in our mouth, because someone has experimented.
Mm,
But on the same hand, you need to be mindful that from an experiment point of view, if the recipe as it stands is perfect, there's no need to experiment, because I'm not starting with a blank sheet of paper.
mm,
So that encouraged me, and that taught me that sometimes we just need to follow the recipe. And in life, there are things that we're doing. I know you said that you're looking at doing some self-development. I'm
mm.
doing some self-development. We all, in theory, going through life, should be doing some form of self-development.
But the thing is right. As we go through the program, you'll see that we are continuously in development,
Yeah.
or as the phrase that I've been pushing for a while, evolving,
Mm-hmm.
continuously evolving.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us look at times of maturity as being, oh, you're coming to the end.
Mm, mm,
No, 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 no.
mm,
This is when
mm,
you are preparing yourself for possibly the next realm,
mm,
yeah, of
mm,
existence.
mm,
So it's
mm,
not coming to the end at all.
mm,
In fact, this is the time when you really celebrate your time and existence
mm,
in this realm.
mm,
Huh?
mm,
There's earlier that let's say it will over the next over the program it shall open up
mm,
that discussion in that way there. Very similar, my sister. Very similar
mm,
experience that I've had, because obviously, as I've shared, right, that I'm doing this course, and what it requires for me to attend Birkbeck University,
mm,
um, for a Saturday and Sunday um, programs, classes, lessons, right, and once a month. So in there, this was the first one. So this is the first time we're all meeting together and everything. So what we had, what was very good about it is that we went when I went there, I thought, right, let me get there and I get a chair. My intentions are to sit at the front of the lecture room so that I'm not disturbed by whatever everybody else is doing. And,
mm, mm,
I arrived in my good time, which is about 15, 20 minutes before.
mm,
Found the place, and I'm thinking, there ain't many people around. What's going on? So I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's only going to be like 20, 25, 30 of us,
mm,
who's going to be doing this. And I'm walking around, and I'm thinking, I don't see anybody, right? And when you start doing it, you think, did I
am
get
I in
the
the right
right day?
place?
Am I right?
You start
Right?
second guessing yourself.
Start re-guessing yourself, and I'm
Mm,
thinking,
mm,
I must be late then or something.
mm,
And I'm checking the information they sent me, and they said, no, it's 10 a.m. start. And I'm there 20 to 10, and I don't
mm,
see nobody around or anything. And I'm thinking,
mm,
this ain't right. And then there was somebody who I saw when I was signing up for the course, and they came along, and they thought exactly the same that I did.
mm,
Like, where is everybody? Like.
mm,
And I said, well, maybe they're gonna just come at last minute. Dot come on, because old people stay sometime.
mm,
And she goes, nah, this is unusual. So she's anxious now, so she's run ahead of me and got into the room and everything like this. And then as I'm coming to the room now, I see the person, the course coordinator,
mm,
and I goes, oh, welcome, Aston, and yeah, everyone's inside now. So, and I went, are you starting early? And he went, no, it's just everybody just came and everyone's in there.
mm,
When I went inside this room, it was shoulder to shoulder, 140 odd people in there, and
mm,
and I thought, whoa, wait a minute, this is not what I was expecting,
mm,
right?
mm.
And of course, my chair was reserved for me right at the back because all the chair then take up. And I thought to myself, oh my word. And I thought, oh, okay, something, it is what it is.
Mm,
And just get in there and do what I'm doing. Right. Now, that little piece, what you just said there, where your hand get where with you,
mm,
obviously now we were all there, and some of us there don't know each other or anything like that.
mm,
And it's one of those courses that you are sharing your experience, um, your your experience in what we're going to be actually studying,
mm,
and also um, it's partly some people come there to do it for their personal development as well, right?
mm,
So they're sharing um, their stories. Yeah,
mm,
my word, it looked like everybody in there is a therapist of some kind, and I'm thinking, am I in the right class here or something? And obviously, everybody all of a sudden they all know everything about this, and I thought, and they're using terminologies that I literally had to Google some of the terminologies they were saying, right? And I was saying,
mm,
oh, Rockstone. And I was thinking, how am I going to hold on? How am I going to move with these type of people? Yes, sir.
mm,
Just like what you said, letting their mouth run ahead of themselves, innit? Yeah. Look how clever me there.
mm, mm,
Right?
mm, mm,
And then I was there, and there was a few fake faces that I know from our community
mm,
that popped up in there, right?
mm,
And then we was talking in the break time, and like they had the same apprehensions that I had,
mm,
and I said, you know what? We're experienced. We're experienced in communicating with our community,
mm,
because
mm,
we have to just ignore what they're saying and how they're saying it,
mm,
and just come with our terminologies,
mm,
right?
mm,
So when we was telling them of our experiences, so this is what we plan to do,
mm,
is share what was going on in our community from the black perspective,
mm,
right? And of course, None of them know not anything about
mm,
black people.
mm,
So
mm,
when we are tell them what go on with we,
mm,
and we're telling them blatantly, black people are don't trust you white people,
mm,
right?
mm,
And it was that breath intake,
mm,
and then obviously the coordinator said, you know what, that's very very honest, and it's very very true. And he says
mm,
this is the reason why you are here, so that black people will probably go to you in preference to me. And we said yes, that's exactly that,
mm,
right? And the fact is that as much as you have problems which are everyday problems to us as black people,
mm,
we are still struggling to even survive within the white societies.
mm.
Who tell me to go say something like that? Oi, they cover, they let off their burden on me now, right? And then obviously the others just started laughing, and then they everybody keep coming up to them and telling them, what is it like this? What is it like that?
Mm,
I go, just tell them the truth. Just
mm,
tell them the truth,
mm,
so that them know, them understand
mm,
what we are go through.
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So yeah. So yeah, let the hand run way. Yeah, yeah.
So two things came to mind in just what you'd said there. One
Mm,
of them was um, on a previous show on Blacknificent radio show. One
mm,
of the ancestral voices you played was
mm-hmm,
from a brother who was in the industry, and part of the reason why someone said to him, "You need to be there because you're going to be telling it from a black perspective,
yeah.
and black people will want to go to, or people of color would want to go to someone of color, so who understands them."
Mm-hmm,
So that's came to my mind in terms of your enlightenment
mm-hmm,
for a majority over the weekend.
mm-hmm,
That thought came to my mind.
mm-hmm,
And then the other thought came to my mind is that whereas some of them are doing the old, um, how I know the terminology and I know this and I know that,
mm-hmm.
the thought that came to my mind was Karate Kid, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off, because
Yeah,
that's all. That's where you're at the moment. You're on the waxing on, waxing off. You're
yeah, yeah.
not. You're not
I'm
on the
trying,
yeah. Yeah. You're not into that yet.
yeah,
You're on
man.
the wax on, wax off.
Yeah. I'm still trying to open the tin, let alone go waxing anything. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's beautiful the fact that you arrived early, which means you were on time,
Mm,
rather than arriving on time, which means you're late.
mm,
And sometimes, as people of color, we arrive on time, which means we're late
mm.
because you've not got that chance to settle in, to get your bearings, to
Exactly.
understand the lay of the energy in the
That's
room.
in the room and
Because all
everything.
you're just doing is you're rushing in. You're
Mm,
sitting down, you don't know what you're sitting down in, and you're not centering yourself and you're not present because you're still your head's still in on the tube, the train, the bus, the whatever, the running down the corridor, the let me dig out my bag, whatever I think I had in there in terms of a book, a pen, blah, 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 blah.
yeah.
So it's beautiful the fact that practicing and everyone else effectively practicing the let's get there early, which means we are on time
Hmm, hmm.
rather than we are late
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or rushing in after the event.
Mhm, mhm. So our next strategic move, as one of the sisters was saying, says we have to be the ones up the front now. We,
That's the thing.
we have to be
That's
up
the
the
thing.
front,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. In the past, I would have shunned going
Yeah.
into the front, um, because the front's reserved for, it's just too close, because that fear factor, that for me, that I'm going to be called upon to answer a question.
Mm,
But now I recognize the front is actually the best space to be in,
mm,
because
mm.
things don't get lost in translation,
Exactly. Exactly. You know?
and you are closer to the source. And I remember in the past, my mother would always say, from a school point of view, the person at the front knows a little bit more than you do. So sit
Mm,
down there and just listen.
mm,
When you sit at the back, you may get distracted. But when you sit at the front,
mm,
because everyone's almost like looking at you,
mm,
you can't be sitting at the front sleeping. It's difficult to sit at the front and daydream.
mm,
It's easier to sit at the front and listen and take on board what they're saying. And if there's anything that you don't
mm,
know, don't understand, would like the clarity on, ask the question.
mm, mm, mm. So, so anyhow, so I've started at the back of the field. Now I have to make my way
Mm.
through.
Way to the You're making your way to the front. You appreciate and recognize the front, but you also appreciate and recognize that 20 minutes,
Yeah.
15 minutes is late, because
One,
everyone
one,
else has got their half an hour.
one of the things, obviously, I'm going through this rejuvenation program, which I've shared with
Mm,
everyone. So if anybody wants to join me again, 5 a.m. On a daily basis, I'm doing a rejuvenation program, and I will come on and discuss elements of that as well. So you can join me on the YouTube again on the Blacknificent radio show at 5 a.m. as well. So anyhow, so you're invited to that as well. Anyway, so one of the things I have to also acknowledge, right, is uh, a fellow presenter, radio presenter, activist, who's in our area, in the
mm,
London area, Rashid Nix, right? He's
mm,
one of the fellow students as well on this course as well. And obviously we were able to uh, put ideas against each other, like how we would go go about completing this course here as well,
mm,
right? He's also in the process of doing a postgraduate degree himself,
mm,
right? And for him to complete that as well. And it is surprising. It is surprising, right? How many of us have challenges.
mm,
All have challenges, right? Even us here on the galaxy, right?
mm,
Because obviously, we're listening to commentaries and making commentaries about world events, yeah. And sometimes, I'm listening to what is being said, how it's being said, right, and how we could possibly be influential,
mm,
right? And I think that is one of those things that has been developing over time, mainly through like the social media, the word and power of the media has been effective enough at this time to the extent of where the authorities, or the global authorities, the political authorities, are taking note of what is being said and how it's being said, because we have a chance of making a sway of opinion and actions of others. So even when you see some person come there, and you probably wouldn't even know them, but they have an interest capsulated by, say, like 1 million people, right?
mm,
Whether the 1 million people are listening to them at all times, it doesn't matter. What's happened is that somebody or something that they've probably been, what they've done, or that they are interested in, right, has gathered that interest, right? So basically, they can put out a statement, cast an opinion about something, and potentially it has 1 million. In actuality, it probably only hits like 10,000,
mm,
right? But at one stage, 1 million has said, "Oh yeah, let me follow this person at some stage, whatever," and they've just never unfollowed that individual.
mm, mm,
Yeah. So don't be afraid. Oh, don't be af- don't be taken in by the, oh, they've got 1 million followers. If they haven't got 1 million interactions,
mm,
like for instance, yes, like tick of like on there
mm, mm,
or comments,
mm,
right? Because I think that is more effective and more true to the line. How many regular comments do you actually have?
mm, mm,
Yeah. How many regular, like for instance, we have this program here now, right? We have a listenage,
mm,
right? Um, we have the occasional message, and then we have the occasional calls as well. But what is more effective are the calls,
mm,
right? Because then it diversifies our line of conversation,
mm,
how we interact with the callers
mhm,
in a positive or negative or mutual manner, right?
mhm,
Is very important as well,
mhm,
because as we know, we are a community station. Our views on a subject does not
mm,
necessarily have to be the be all and end all. How it lands with us does not
mm,
necessarily land with others. As you know, we're an
mhm,
extremely diverse listenage here on the galaxy of the we.net, right?
mhm,
And even with the nature of this program here, um, although I'm part of what we're doing, you are equally as part of what is happening for this program, and taking the choice to allow it to evolve in its own way,
mm,
right? Um, I feel that it's good to just establish the conversation away from the other platforms that we actually have. For instance, the Blacknificent Show,
mm,
right? And
mm,
this is obviously a different level of conversation, a
mm,
different level of engagement,
mhm,
because we are um, not taking it back, but we're bringing the essence of the Blacknificent Show to this level of platform. But
mhm,
also, we are allowing the community news to be the main headlines of our actions here.
yeah,
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 that is why we will be and are selective of the type of material we do present in here,
mhm,
because if we relied upon the mire of the mainstream medium,
mm,
right? I feel that we would just be repeating the same type of brainwash, what
mm,
which we are trying to cleanse ourselves of
mm, mm,
and away from, right? From what is already been put out here. Yeah. So empowerment is extremely important.
mm,
Just like how we would like to start our day pure in thought and pure in action.
mhm,
Yeah. And in a powerful manner. Very blessed as we are to be here on the Galaxy Morning program,
mhm,
right? And or the Galaxy Morning Risings, right? We are very, very blessed indeed. Yeah? Ancestral appreciation is part of our foundation as well. And even at this time, to give thoughts to those who have been before, and those who are actually present, and those who are to be our future. Yeah. In other words, those who are past and their words are still alive with us. Yeah.
mm,
Our actions will be the footprints of tomorrow.
mm,
Right.
mm,
So therefore,
mm,
uh, we are continuously alive and active
mm,
as the ancestral carpet of life.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. Yeah. And even though we're in different spaces,
Hmm.
um, you're speaking about the ancestral carpet of life, and in looking at yesterday's paper, there's a headline, "What's your business legacy?" And I've not read the detail,
Mm,
but I've taken away the word business. When I was looking at that headline, I was thinking, I took away the word business and
mm,
thought, what's my legacy? And it comes back to what's the carpet? What am I leaving behind? How am I then communicating with others?
mm,
What's my purpose? As you said, what in terms of the show and what we're bringing towards the show and what we'd encourage the listeners to add to the mix in relation to show, what is it? And you've just highlighted in some aspects there what it is in terms of our thoughts and our perspective and what we're aiming to bring to the Galaxy family outside of what they can get on the mainstream. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because it, one of the things that what I've discovered, right? Because like even yesterday, I shared it with some of the people who was in attendance with at the program that I was on, not the program, the class that I was
Mm,
at,
mm,
right? And then I shared with them that yeah, I do a program, I do a community program, radio program, right? And then I said, well, one of the things is that obviously this course will enable me to do is to offer a service that I could go deeper with sharing and um, not only sharing but helping others to reach their potential. Yeah. And then like they said, oh yeah, they came exactly the same way like everybody else would. And when I say everybody else, I'm not saying this in a disparaging way because everybody has that built-in inbuilt pattern,
mm,
right? And I
mm,
said, very simple thing. You ask a question, ask somebody a question, and they said, "Can you talk about yourself for 1 or 2 minutes?" Right?
mm,
And they said, "Yeah, yeah, but yeah, of course we can." And I said, "Okay then." Right? And I broke it down to them. I said,
mm,
"Listen, because what people will do, I think I repeated this before or on the program here. What people will do, they will talk about everything that they're doing
mm,
and what they're doing for others first of all,
mm,
right? They'll describe their job, their place where they live,
mm,
how their lifestyle, their financial status, their marital status,
mm,
right? Children,
mm,
else. And then you can just stand there and listen to them, no problem, right?
mm,
And then you ask them, that's good. Then you point out that is not you.
mm,
That is everything that you are engaged in or what you have been part of.
mm,
So tell me about you, right?
mm,
and then they will go silent. Why? Because they haven't developed that language to actually to talk about themselves, right? And then to develop that language to talk about themselves of who they are directly sounds completely strange to them. Yeah. When you point it out, then they come to that realization that, oh my gosh, I've just been living my life for others, and that has been their priority, right? And that is the empowerment that we have, is to introduce themselves, introduce to themselves, right? And then take that journey with them, develop their language for them, right? And like this, wow, we never really thought of it like that, right? Who tell me to go to that 2 hours later? We're there at the course coordinator. It's like he said exactly the same thing that me I said. And of course, those who I was talking to, what did they do? They turn around and they look in my direction. And I thought to myself, you know something? Galaxy family, we know too much. We are too powerful, more powerful than what we ever know, more powerful than what we ever know, right? Why? Because we have been given this platform here on Galaxy to be able to express ourselves, our story, right? We don't have to be building our lives around who is me, right? We don't have to be building our lives around that. But that is the way how many, the majority of people are so disconnected with themselves that they cannot even for 1 or 2 minutes about themselves. Yeah? And it's a thing that you practice, you choose the words, you choose the phrases. This is why we do our affirmations, our words of empowerment to describe our paths, right? What are we working on for ourselves? Yeah, I am, right? Because we are, and therefore I am. But we have to work on the I am. Yeah, because if you have no identification of self, then you have no foundation. Does that make sense?
It does. So the program, the 30-day journey that I
Yes.
take people, my clients through, also looks at that on one of the days, whereby what's something about yourself that can't be taken away. So if you're talking about yourself, you're not talking about the things, as in your job, your position in your employment, your position within your family. I'm the third child, or I'm the oldest, or I'm the youngest. I'm married. I've got a dog, a cat, a hamster. You're not talking about things that can be taken away from you, but
Yeah.
who are you? Things that are ultimately true will always be true.
Mm.
So even our name is something that has been taken away from us. I was going to say can be, but it already has been, and we've
No,
been
it
given
has.
a new name. But does that name signify the essence of who you are?
Mm.
And I know recently I've been looking at that, And exactly the using that word legacy, what's your legacy? It's
Mm.
that thought process. When you are no longer with us, what will people say about you that cannot be taken away? That
Mm.
is your essence. And do you recognize that now that you're alive? Why wait until you die before you? We sit down there with that word called eulogy, in order to speak about the essence. Why wait? Why not understand what your essence is whilst you're alive, and then your purpose, and move forward from there? So yeah, I can imagine that would have stumped a lot of people, because I know when I do the 30-day journey, it stumps people. It becomes a bit of a squirming in the seat because they don't know, and then they throw something out, and you think to yourself, no, no.
Mm.
And the other way that I would analogy that I would give when we're discussing it is, if you're sitting in an office,
Mm-hmm.
or you're sitting in a training environment, and they always do that. Trainer may call it creeping death, round robin, know a bit about yourself, yada yada yada. It's people start getting to their attachments
Mm-hmm.
in order to explain how important they are.
Mm-hmm.
But
Exactly.
once you strip away those attachments, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
What's your gift? What legacy are you going to be leaving this world with?
Mm-hmm.
Once you've stripped away all of those attachments, all of those stuff, in quotes, which we do need,
Mm-hmm.
potentially. Again, that's another conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But once you've stripped away all of those stuff, and you've then parked your importance, because now you're sitting on it,
Mm-hmm.
who are you?
Exactly. I don't. One of the other things I think we have to talk about in the future, though, right, is knowing your true value,
Mm,
right?
mm,
Uncomfortable as it may, uncomfortable. Um, can you move? Because I'm getting a feed. Yeah. Okay then. That's better. That's better. Yeah. So like uncomfortable as it may be, right? That our value, we all underestimate our true value. You know, and even when it was posed to us to say, how much do you feel that you actually worth? Like for instance, an hour's service. You know, and everybody barring those who had actually experienced, um, um, let's say, higher value, underestimated ourselves by about 60%, right? Myself included. But mainly, he says that there are those who would work for charities, right? In other words, they would do it for nothing or voluntary, and those who work for charity who work and then give it away, right? And then he goes, those who will offer a service that would expect a level of payment. Yeah. And he said, guess which one you're supposed to be in now? Yeah. And he says, right, so forget about those first two and let's get on with the business now. you know? And that was another wake up movement. Yeah. And the thing is that they are, you know, comfortable as we may be with oh, I've got to do this for my people and da 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 da. But also, let's get some proper understanding behind all of this as well, you know, of where what your true value really is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can unmute. Hopefully the echo's gone a bit now. That's it. Yes, it's still there. It's still there a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I
But
tell you,
no.
hold on, just pause for a second, because I'm getting the echo back and back. If you go out and come back in, right? If you go out and come back in, then I'll be able to see what thing. Okay, then great. Okay, we take a few little break here, and we'll be right back here. The lines are open on 0203-289-6504 here on the Galaxy Rising show. Why are you not playing? Oh, hmm, don't know what's going on here, boy. Okay. I don't know why, but the sound is not coming through properly. I don't know why. To try and sort that out sometime. Okay, right. We're back here with here in the Grand Risings, the Galaxy Rising show here on the Galaxy of We.net with myself, Aston, and with our sister Sandra. Right? Uh, you'll be joining us very soon, won't you?
I
Here
will be. I
in the
will
U.
be joining you live and in person, but I'll be closer to
Mhm.
you in terms of London town.
And you will also be available, right,
I
to
will.
be
Yeah.
to some live events as well.
Yeah. So I will be at the Auntie Jean's African Cultural Market on the 21st
Mm-hmm.
of
May.
May.
Mm-hmm. And
And that's the one that's in the diary. There's other events that I'll be at.
books. You're
Just
doing a book signing as well, apparently.
yeah, I'm just gonna I'm shoring that up in terms of a location for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay then. All right then.
Uh,
All right. So
So yeah,
it could be your front room in Croydon somewhere.
it's like to be bigger than a front room, but yeah, yeah, it's like to be in Croydon. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay then.
yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, yeah. I know. I'm putting a tilt on it, but still,
Mm,
you never know where these things could happen.
mm,
You know,
mm,
could be at
mm.
any establishment, any of there. pop-ups or anything like that, you know.
mm.
No, Brixton seems to be the in place right now. You know, the pop-ups
Okay.
in Brixton
Mm,
seem to have quite a few events going on there at the
mm,
moment. I'm missing them
mm,
all because I'm going through my self and development
mm,
time. So I'm sort of like cut down on my interaction with everybody and anybody. You know, I've cut down on that. So
mm,
so I can
mm,
focus on what I need to do and who I need to be. You know,
mm.
less distractions. Yeah.
Well, to be fair,
Mm-hmm.
when we are going through that development, and I would encourage everybody to do it,
Mm-hmm.
we do need to
Mm-hmm.
give up some of the things which we in the past may have consumed our time. Um, and that's in terms
Mm-hmm.
of the events. It could be the television, it could be the books, it could be the YouTube, it could be anything that's eaten away from you that valuable thing called time that you need now to focus on the task at hand. Because once you've acquired, mastered what you're doing, then you can go back to the events with a different mindset. So one of the things that I'm looking at, and in the program that I'm doing now, they talk about in order to achieve what it is that you think you want, what are you going to give up? Because you can't do the two. You
Mm-hmm.
can't be true to yourself and want something on one hand, but still want to maintain the lifestyle or the thought processes that you had, or the entertainment or the whatever that you had on the other hand. The two are incongruent. They don't make sense
Mm-hmm.
because you can only, to be fair, and I've mentioned it before, and in the past, I'd always say, yeah, I can multitask. Yeah, I can multitask, and get onto that bandwagon that, yeah, women can multitask and men can't multitask. None of us can multitask
Mm-hmm.
because what we end up doing in multitasking is that we don't give our full focus to either the conversation and the what's happening, and we're not present, which means there could be things that are missing, passing us by that we don't pick up on. And in multitasking, we're selling ourselves short.
Ain't that the truth? Mm-hmm.
And it's as you're feeding in and you're doing something for yourself and you're um, learning, developing, acquiring a new skill, that multitasking needs to sit aside whilst you are acquiring that. And then once you're proficient, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
use driving as a proficient, you then stop doing the mirror signal maneuver. But when you were learning how to drive, you had to pay attention, you had to concentrate. Because if you didn't, you was likely to get yourself in an accident, prang the car, remodel the car, and the worst case scenario, prang yourself and or somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Multitasking didn't work.
And it's very, very, very easy to do as well. Trust me,
Yeah,
very easy.
yeah, yeah.
It's not. It's not. It's not just a case of that. Oh, you're going to be super fantastic about
Mm,
everything.
mm-hmm,
It takes the skills, and you have to
mm-hmm,
pay attention at all times.
mm-hmm,
You have to pay attention at all times, and there's many a person who has been caught out easily with without even realizing, and then all of a sudden they go into that dream state of driving,
mm, mm,
right? If you could use that
mm,
as an example, they go into that dream state of driving. In other words, they've lost 200 meters,
mm,
300 meters,
mm,
right? Of driving, and you think, whoa, hold on, and then they're coming
mm,
back to consciousness, and they
mhm,
realize, oh, where am I?
mm,
You know, and they don't realize, not realizing that they've covered a space
mm,
of like 200-300 meters without them even being present.
mm,
You know,
mm, mhm.
so
Yeah, yeah. As a driver, I think we've all at some point done it to a lesser or
mm,
greater degree. Because I know I can put up my hand and say, "Yep, been there."
mm,
But for the grace of source love, source energy, go away. And I've got cousins and know people who weren't as fortunate in that regard. But
mm-hmm,
but it is, and one of the things then that I'm looking at in terms of the program that I'm doing was we often talk about the um, diet
mm-hmm,
and the physical, what you're going to abstain from in order to get that perfect body or the optimal health. Let's
mm-hmm,
use that word rather than perfect body.
mm-hmm,
But the thing that they're talking about is a mental diet,
as well.
which it comes back to your rejuvenation because that's a mental diet. What's coming in? What are you doing with between the ears?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
What are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
mm-hmm. Well,
From
the
a
thing is, yeah, because like even as I'm going through this, you are more aware of the type of programming you want to take in,
mm,
and of course, some of us do just go into things blindly,
mm,
right? We might say, oh, that point there or that part there of that program was very interesting,
mm,
not realizing that all the rest of the stuff that you are saying that you are filtering out
mm,
has already made an imprint onto your hard drive,
mm,
onto
mm,
your subconscious,
mm,
because it doesn't filter it out,
mm,
because it remembers what it has filtered out.
mm,
Yeah. So if you are trying to rejuvenate and reprogram yourself,
mm,
you have to be specific to
mm,
say, you know what, let me just start afresh or a clean, so that even when you're reviewing, and in many ways reviewing, re-consciously viewing, or literally re-looking at some material that you had before,
mm,
right? You have to filter out all that what is not necessary,
mm,
that which is all that is outdated.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
um, there may be images there that emotionally will challenge you.
mm,
You know,
mm, mm,
events and actions of your past.
mm,
Yeah,
mm,
put them into something that you say, if it's necessary,
mm,
I know where they are,
mm,
but I don't need them in my periphery all the
mm,
time.
mm,
You know,
mm,
right? There may be maybe even some people
mm,
that you
mm,
have images of,
mm,
that will evoke your emotions.
mm,
You know,
mm,
clear them out,
mm,
so that you have a clear vision. Take some new memories, make
mm.
some new
Make
memories.
some new memories. Get the emotions next near to the
That's-
new memories.
yeah.
And with the old memories, and you say people in terms of clearing them out,
Mm.
there needs to be then for me an element of forgiveness.
Oh,
So you can then let them go from a
mm,
moving forward and moving on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because that has always been one of those powerful things. I mean, yeah, okay, okay. Then let's touch on that for a couple of minutes, right?
Mm,
Right. Because I know that you incorporate that in your presentations as well,
mm,
right? How
mm.
does that look? How does that look to you then?
So for me,
Mm,
it's the cornerstone of my consciousness and even subconsciousness in terms of being able to understand, but also for me, gives me an opportunity of letting go. So if I'm able to forgive, I'm not saying I've forgotten, but in able to forgive, I can move on. And the memory and the experience doesn't hold me down or choke me, whereby I know I can be in the presence of self and or the other person without there being any emotional attachment. So without that element of forgiveness, I will still hold on to the remnants of what was said, what was done. And I then have that movie trailer in my mind that plays over and over and over again. And I see something and I'm triggered and I'm thinking, no, why am I still holding on to that thought? And it doesn't serve me. Why am I holding on to that anger and that frustration and it doesn't serve me? It's actually easier for me, I'm finding, to think forgiveness and on a daily basis to, um, there's a practice that I have by way of gift, thinking of the gratitude, thinking about the insights, but then taking it the next stage further in terms of thinking about the forgiveness and doing that on a daily basis. Because my thought process is I need to be conscious of and be aware of and be prepared to do that forgiveness. So there's the big ones, but then on a daily basis, there's the other elements of the forgiveness that I need to be mindful of. And because I know I can be my own worst critic, in being able to forgive myself, it gives me an opportunity of moving on and moving forward. So for me, forgiveness is key in as adults.
mm-hmm,
Once we've got past the first 7 years and everything's been put on, dumped on our hard drive, good, bad, or indifferent,
mm-hmm,
and we get to a level of consciousness. How can we rewrite what was dumped on our hard drive
mm,
with the element of understanding that we have now, but also the element of being able to just to forgive?
mm. Okay, all right then. Let me put it in the perspective of like a galaxy listener now, right?
Mm,
Now we're very aware, and we um, of our historical interaction with other cultures, right?
mm,
And they they are still exhibiting the same vigor of hatred towards us as black people,
mm.
right? How do you put that into perspective in what you've just said?
So the word that came to my mind was power.
Mm,
If I don't forgive, they still have the power to pull my strings,
mm-hmm,
whereby I know what you're doing, I can
mm,
see what you're doing, but you're not going to get the reaction that you expect from me
yeah.
from a power point of view, because I'm taking back my power.
Mm-hmm,
I'm taking back my consciousness, which means then I may make a different decision from what you're expecting. I may go down a different journey.
mm-hmm,
And that different journey doesn't necessarily mean here in the UK or
Mm-hmm.
here in Jamaica, it may be finding like-minded individuals, whereby from a collective. But I can only do that if I can understand and see where you're coming from, but not
Mm-hmm.
allow what you're saying to direct my behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, from a forgiveness point of view, I take control back of my behavior, and I'm doing it consciously rather than unconsciously.
Mm-hmm.
So recognizing that the horrors of what has been done to us, and maybe horrors which are currently being done to us
Mm-hmm.
individually or collectively. But am I going to continue that from a legacy point of view moving forward? Because if I
Mm-hmm.
stay in that state of horror, I'm going to stay in a state of limbo, and I won't allow
Mm-hmm.
my creativity, my power, my beauty to shine, because I'm being dulled down and being distracted by what you are trying. And I'm going to use that word trying because there's no such thing called trying, but what
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to do to me, to make me feel, to make me react, all
Mm-hmm.
under the pretense of my best friend's black. So I didn't mean it. All under the pretense of, really?
Mm.
I'm
Well,
not getting involved.
ignorance,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
willful
yeah,
ignorance. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
The unconscious bias or stuff like that, though, the terms that they use now to under justify the
Mm-hmm.
behavior, and they put a psychological term on it. No, I want to come out of that matrix,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm conscious of what you're doing, but I'm not going to be held down by what you're doing,
Mm.
and I'm
There,
going to
there
take
is,
back my power.
there is this element, right? Because there's also a process that I've experienced, right? Severe, um, severe, traumatic, or whatever. It, we all go through it in our own way,
Mm,
right? To describe it, if I describe it very briefly, give acknowledgement to there's pain, yeah. Give acknowledgement that there's also a trigger, yeah. Whether it be the tonality of your voice, of literally physical feeling, right? Some people, their temperature just rise at the thought
mm,
interacting with certain people. There's words that come out of them that exhibit it. Like the word of, like, literally hate.
mm,
I hate being around those people
mm,
all the time. I hate it.
mm,
Right?
mm,
You know what I mean? Or,
mm,
you know what? I I don't trust you.
mm,
Yeah. All these type of things. And
mm,
the more often that we say these things, some of us are not really aware of every time you say it, it's like someone putting a nail into you. And
mm,
each time you say it, it's like you're just driving that nail deeper and deeper
mm,
and
mm,
deeper
mm,
into you, right? It will never ever be extracted. But the
mm,
thing is that the only person that you're hurting with it is yourself,
mm, mm,
right?
mm,
Now, is that your true nature, right? Is that your true nature to exhibit hate, right? And I don't mean towards those who have shown it to you or to us
mm,
in any way.
mm,
Is that your true nature?
mm,
Like what we were speaking about earlier on,
mm,
we're talking about you, the self now,
mm,
right? Is that what you would want for yourself
mm,
and for others?
mm,
Is that what you would want them to be thinking of you?
mm,
Right?
mm,
Obviously, you have to go through that process of acknowledging that
mm,
you are doing this to yourself
mm,
and to forgive yourself for allowing yourself to do this to yourself,
mm, mm.
irrespective of their actions towards you
Yeah.
or anything like
Yep.
that. You have to forgive
Yeah.
yourself.
You've got no control over their actions, to be
That's
fair. You've only got control over your own
exactly, and
and
that's
your
that's what
response.
that is what you have to break it down to.
Mm,
You break it down to yourself,
mm, mm. Yeah.
and when you've acknowledged that,
Mm,
and you have got comfortable with the thought of, something,
mm,
I'm never going to do that to myself again,
mm, mm, mm,
and anything associated with that
mm,
is not part of my life, not part of my existence, not part of my makeup, not part of my point of discussion.
mm,
And I'm not going to say it's not going to be part of my thought,
mm.
because it will always be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It will not be the priority
Mm,
of my makeup of discussion and
mm,
expression
mm,
or identification.
mm,
Some of us love to be slaves.
mm,
Some of us love to be slaves.
mm, mm,
Some of us love to be freedom fighters. Fighters. Some of us love to be liberators.
mm,
Some of us just love to be free.
mm.
Which one of those would you say is the more liberal out of all of them? Right?
Mm,
It's the one that has no attachment to
yeah.
whatever one you want to choose. The one that
Mm,
has less attachment to.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a process that I was shown and learned. And it
Mm,
took time.
mm, mm. Yeah. It's
Time.
not. Yeah. 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 It's not a fly
And
by night, a
even
flash
now,
in
I
the
still
pan.
have to go through that process
Mm, mm,
of
mm,
self analysis
mm,
of where I am,
mm,
right? Because as you meet people and you allow them to be into your life, they can go right through the spectrum of that of that
mm,
that line up there,
mm,
and they all play their part in it.
mm,
But it's where you are in that lineup.
mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm. And are you able to catch yourself? And if you're
Hmm.
not able to catch yourself, there's a question in terms of there's a learning that you need to take responsibility for your element within that.
Hmm.
So responsibility doesn't mean you're going to be beating yourself up and down the corridor and slapping
Mm.
yourself around the face and all the rest of it, but you still need to be mindful and conscious of your responsibility within that.
Hmm.
As I said, with the knowledge and the wisdom that you have today, what decision would you make going forward? Because we
Exactly.
can only speak about today.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. And that's the only things that we can influence, to be honest.
Mm, mm,
Even what was yesterday,
mm.
we can't
No,
change that.
no, no.
We only can change from now to the future.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Right. And that is for me. It's one of those process that I've was shown, and
mm,
that I've incorporated on many
mm,
occasions.
mm, mm,
Occasions, right?
mm,
And it's just like driving. You learn how to control that vehicle, Dessa, you know.
mm, mm,
And in many ways, sometimes some people just say, "Boy, you're good, you know. You're good." And I was, let me tell you something. There has
mm,
been times when there
mm,
have been better drivers than me.
mm,
And
mm,
I give acknowledgement to them, say, "Boy, you're a better person than me."
mm, mm,
You
mm,
understand? So I'm not
mm,
saying I'm perfect.
mm,
But I realize how you can
mm,
maneuver and get through certain things
mm, mm.
in life, you know?
You've had that insight, and you give yourself that clarity. So it goes back to, you mentioned there's a lot of things, a lot of pop-ups and stuff like that happening in Brixton, and you're not able to get to as much or um, involved as you have done in the past.
Hmm.
But if you are distracted, you will go to and get to every single one of them. But that distraction doesn't allow you to do the rejuvenation,
Mm, mm.
because it takes you away from where you need to be.
It's not my priority at this time.
Mm. So, from a forgiveness point of view, having that insight whereby you say, yes, there are better drivers than me,
Mm,
but you can take stock of where you are now, and you can do something to improve your driving, improve how you think about yourself.
mm,
But in forgiving the situation, you're then not holding yourself to the, like I said, beating yourself up and down the corridor. And it's important, and I'll say for each and every one of us, to have that element of clarity. So again, um, Brother Aston was speaking about 5 o'clock and being part of that 5 a.m. club. And there's a lot of voices out there that talk about a 5 a.m. club
mm,
and talk about the beauty and the benefit of being part of that 5 a.m. club,
mm,
to the point whereby you get a chance to still the mind.
mm.
You get a chance to do that reflection. Um, I was listened to the I was going to say Auntie Jean, but she hosted as well as, and the brother, in terms of the Black Book Show.
Oh yes, yes, on
So
Saturdays.
that's, yeah, on the last Sunday in the month,
Hmm.
with the brother. So one of the authors on there was, her book was in terms of a relation to, um, it was a children's book, children's story,
Mm,
and the way she spoke about it was that whether it be children or with adults, with children, they will often look in places. If you say find your pair of shoes, they may look in the oven, they may look in places which are not logical.
yeah.
And the title of the book, I think, is Check Your Belly Button.
Mm,
But she uses the analogy belly button for children so they may understand. But then she broadened it when she was speaking about the rationale as to why check your belly button, because we all have that thing called intuition.
mm,
So the question is, what are you doing with your intuition? How attuned are you to your intuition? And if we're always on the go, we lose that connection. So being part of that 5 a.m. club gives you that opportunity to just recenter,
mm,
recalibrate, listen, slow down. Because during the day, you don't get that opportunity because there's a lot of noise going on.
exactly.
So you may bear to be the blessed person, one of our listeners may be the best person, be in a positive space where you can take time out, say at
Mm,
midday, at 1 o'clock, at 3 o'clock, at 10:30, whatever the time is.
mm.
But
Regular.
not everyone has that opportunity. But we all have the first thing in the morning,
Hmm.
or for some, the last thing at night. So the question I'd say is, how best are you using that time for your insights, discoveries, successes, or miracles? So
It's,
I would ask that question.
what even as you ask that question, right? There's always the space, right? To say, you know what, in the silence, what special, what special time are you giving to yourself,
Mm,
right? As I said, we've been blessed to have extended our presence,
mm, mm,
right? Extended our presence to the morning element, right? Well,
Three
as
times to yourself, twice for
no,
me.
3 times now. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays,
Hmm.
right? You join me on the Mondays and the Fridays. You understand? But like in many ways, I just look on this as a true honor,
Mm,
you know, because there are many of us who hasn't been able to come and say, you know what, what would I like to do to empower my people,
mm,
right?
mm, mm,
This to me, right, is an honor, right? And how long it lasts,
mm,
right? This is just one of the things that I would love to do to empower my people, right? To have that space of where we can just converse in the morning, right? Without the distractions and the interreactions of the world to come and destroy our peacefulness
mm,
we would
mm,
like to have for ourselves, right? And to set our day right.
mm,
Because here on the galaxy of forwe.net, we need to have that space of where we can have the purity of thought, the purity of actions,
mm,
right? It's like going to a retreat,
mm. Yes.
right? We leave everything outside,
Mm,
right? We have the minimum distractions that we can from the outside world. Yeah, this is why it will be very rare you will hear myself bring in any discussions or points, right? Or events that is going to be disruptive to our space within this forum,
mm,
right? It'd be very rare that I will bring that into my conversations as well.
mm, mm,
Why? Because I am more interested and focused on you, the person, us, the family. Yeah, that is my priority.
mm,
It's not necessarily what is happening with the governmental issues towards us and their disruptive programs towards us as a black community, society, a global entity.
mm,
But I am interested in you as a person.
mm,
Yeah. And I'm not dismissing that those things happen
mm,
or what is happening,
mm,
but I'll prefer to empower you to be strong enough to stand on your own 2 feet so that you can be strong to face those adversities as they come to you. Yeah, it's not a case of that. Wow, we're going to be superhuman and fly away into space or anything like that, right? I'm not going to take you to an island and say drink this concoction and free yourself, right? Although we do share the same surname, but still, anyhow, I'm not gonna tell you to do that. But I will say that your quality of life can be a lot better, right? If you discipline yourself enough to say, you know what, I acknowledge that there's a discomfort or a dis-ease. What can I actually do about this? Do I love myself to do anything about it? Yeah. Because there's many of us who still hate ourselves and we still keep doing the same thing and we don't care until the PM get enough to say, yo, listen to me now. Something a go on, yeah, so deal with this now. Right? You understand? So in that way there, you know, it might be something simple, very simple, like drink more water, as we do as our foundation, get more rest, regular rest. Yeah. Go to a bed early, 1 hour earlier at night. Go to bed before sun rises in the morning. So you know, some of us are night owl, you know, and then we try to stay awake all day to do a functional job for Bakamasa, and we're not even spending no quality time for ourselves. Yeah. Right? We end up with the end of the stick that don't even serve nobody. But you give them the best of the day. You're giving them the best of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Madness, that man. Madness.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Doesn't make sense in anybody's world.
That don't make no sense at all.
Mm.
Yeah. Let me see now. Let me see. I don't know why this thing now play properly, but we'll try. We'll try again. We'll try again. And yeah. I just wanna try and see if I can get this thing going. I don't know why. My life. In a go good.
I thought you was going to say in the sunshine.
I have to put a spin on that today. Oh dear. What was that tune I was looking for now? Oh, there's two of them. Innit? Let me just quickly scroll through this thing here. Look at that, side by side. Look at you. Yeah.
Found it.
Hold on. Here we go. All right. Suka with it.
Sitting on another man's land, I'm getting stupid. Toiling up another man's land, my mind corrupted. My corrupted. Wherever it was placed, I will find it. Oh yeah, I'm going to find it. Because I want to go. I'm begging Jah. I want to go, but the land too far. Over yonder, where there's many moons yonder, I want to go back to Africa.
Lines are open. 0203-289-6504.
Toiling up another man's land, stupid, doing what another man say, my mind corrupted. This jungle that I'm in, I know I cannot win. I'm going to find it. Oh yes, I'm going to find it. 'Cause I want to go, and I land too far. I want to go. I'm begging child over yonder where there's many, many moons yonder. I want to go back to Africa. Shooby, 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 shooby. I want to go, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go.
Yes. That's Calypso Rose. Calypso Rose. Yes, man. One of them tune there. Inspiration. Tiling up another man land. Lord, let me tell you something. I think that should be one of the things that we should always be moving towards, our freedom at all costs. Right? There are many things. I mean, like, I know that we was talking last program about the family bank, and even as being a member of the farmers group, we need to have a family financial planning process, and it should be one of those things that, if you haven't got that in place, don't even bother look for my daughter. You understand? And obviously that should be part of the marriage or cohabitating as they do it now, right? Conditions, because boy, there's too many of us who are letting life slip by and not addressing these things, not putting these things in. They're ready to go on and say, yes, we're gonna have a family, and we don't even have the fundamentals of insurance and all them things there, right? In other words, you're not qualified. You're not ready for them things there, boy. You understand? But you want to go play a big man game to Rockstone at the age of 14. Yeah? What you doing? What you dealing with? What you really dealing with? Huh? You crazy? Anyhow, let me bring in this caller here on our beautiful Grand Risings, Galaxy Grand Rising show here. Grand Risings, my brother.
Grand Rising, brother Aspen.
Hey.
And Grand Rising to Sister Sandra. I said maybe I can do it few minutes before I become the lastminute.com.
Grand Rising, brother Julius.
Yes, my sister. I tell you what, number one, I said I have to acknowledge you and rise you up, because I don't know whether maybe because of the something that got to do with this song. I think that we all need that can keep us awake and alert, just like you are so vibrant. It's like you are in the daytime there. Because boy, when I can hear you 1 o'clock in the morning going to 2 o'clock now,
Yes.
then I think we don't need this Babylon where we are now. You understand? It will keep us awake.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know something? If the coin was on the other side now, right? How many of us would be at 2 o'clock a morning, 1 and 2 o'clock a morning, be so attentive, right? And so consistent as our sister Sandra to come and provide a service like that, eh?
Yes, brother.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the last time I traveled into a sunshine country was this Jamaica I traveled to. Maybe it's around the area where Sister Sandra is, which was St. Mary and there. I tell you, they have to beat me up to try to go to bed because I never want to go to bed. My man, I'm just on top of that mountain, just picking up the star, the word, the dew of the.
Yes,
you understand that I don't want to go to bed. This is what happened, you know. So my sister enjoyed, and if I was having all that coin and that word, I would have tell you, say, you know what? I know you would love to come to England again or whatever it is, but boy, he's in that big money, you know, because that's what I want all of us to have. Something that can keep you away, us away from Babylon, you know?
Thank you. Well,
let me
I hear you
Jamaica was always known as the jewel of the Caribbean, right? As you know, as it was regarded there. But I'm telling you, there's plenty of jewelers around the world. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But they just not showing them with us.
We was having that. You understand? We was having that one. That's why even when I go there, it reminds me most of the time of Freetown, Sierra Leone. The only thing that happened really like in Freetown, it happened that there was a disaster there once because the people are cutting the trees to build houses on top of the mountain. That swamp pit, something that happened there. That's what it is. But when I see that view, it was always reminding me. And I said that to my brother. And my brother said, no, you won't find that as well. He said, this is what took place there because people were cutting the trees so much. So I advise Jamaica not to cut them trees down too much from the top of the mountain. It's not a good thing. Yeah.
And it's very true. The ecosystem over there is very vibrant. Right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what's happening is that developers are moving in, right? And let's say the need of the people are being overruled by the conglomerates there. Right, and they are buying these pieces of land, and they are mining them to the raw. You know? They're doing their mining, their frackings, and everything else, and but basically unethical ways of how they're trying to extract minerals, and they're searching for minerals and ways how they can exploit the land, you know. So it's one of those things that a lot of us are aware, but in many cases they are unable to actually do anything about it directly. Indirectly, obviously, you can talk to the politician to your blue in the face, but the politicians still have the in bank book fund.
That's it. Well, my Sister Sandra, you want to say something before I end that?
So I understand, and one of the things that they've been speaking a lot about on the news that I've caught is planting a tree and recognizing, yes, they are as they cut down because they're using the wood for the furniture, etc., or housing or developments. They're encouraging, so they, like the UK, I think a lot of the countries have signed up for the in terms of global and doing something because the fuel, etc., and the atmosphere and pollution, whatever. So what Jamaica are doing and what they've been often, whether it be in the newspaper and or on the TV, they're talking about planting trees and doing the 3 million trees, or they've got a time frame in terms of planting. They're probably halfway through it at the moment. They're making strides, and it does maintain that beauty and that ecosystem that Brother Aston was just referring to. But yeah, when you look out at different parts, St. Mary is adjacent to where I am in Portland. And yeah, I was having a conversation with someone recently, and we were speaking about Jamaica. We're speaking in general. And the thing that I like about Jamaica against some of the other islands, and even when I was in some parts of the motherland, was just seeing that greenery and just seeing that beauty. If I'm in the UK, I don't see the greenery, I don't see the beauty. And it's a sight to behold.
You know what about it? Remember when we went to Egypt, right? Years ago, we went with Professor Les
Henry, yeah.
At the time, and it was. I never looked up for the first couple of nights. Yeah, wasn't aware of it. And we went on a boat. We went to the Nubian village, right? And then we came back, and it was after dark. Yeah. And then we was able to just cruise along the Nile, and we was returning back to our hotel, and then we just cruising on the river then, and then I looked up at the sky. You know something? I've never seen that sky like that for over 30 years. Can you imagine that? I've never seen the stars and the heavenly bodies like that for over 30 years. And it's only when I was a very young child that I recall looking and seeing stars like that. Right? I had forgotten the immensity of the universe in them ways there. And imagine now that there are people in the UK who has never ever seen the heavenly bodies of the stars like that. They've never seen it. Right? Because all I know, I was just looking at this thing and I just said, we are part of this. We are part of this. Yeah? And I thought, wow. Wow. You know? And then you could see like shooting star and all them things there go on. And he said, Rock's doing this lifeboat.
Yeah.
We are, I'm telling you something. We are just a little speck in the existence of life itself. And I said, many of us never experienced that. Never.
Brother Aspen, I know your program is about to finish, but let me give this to all the African continent and the Caribbean continent. Please stop allowing them trees here to be cut and come. You know, these people are full us too much. We used to say what we call timber. Yeah, they go and cut them, trees them, and bring it to Europe and everything. We make Europe look like that with some kind of trees them they have or whatever it is. Please don't allow it, because this is what makes the art strong. So if you want your continent to be strong, that's why we're losing some of these droughts. We get some of these things there and dryland or whatever it is, because we have allowed these people to cut the trees and transform Africa now, and Europe is now almost becoming like the Africa in another world. I mean, the green, some of the green and all this sort of thing there. Please, African country and the Caribbean, stop cutting your trees. Otherwise, you will find yourself underneath water. You have to stop this thing so that they act strong, because this is what keeps them, they act strong. That's why I see this country called Britain. It looks like they're not experiencing some of these earthquakes because they planted lots of trees them all around. And they give that gravity to the land and so on, and that strength to the land. Please, Africa and the rest of where the black people exist in Caribbean land and so on, don't allow these people to cut your tree. Don't sell out yourself and kill your people. That's my one good advice. You know, but
yes,
I know I was coming for you. Your time is limited now.
Yes.
Time to think on this forgiveness talk. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when we look at it, I mean, now I might just give you a few minutes. I mean, I'm asking myself, I said, are we really forgiving? Or is that a terminology which developer, especially when it comes to the English terminology, or that word was used more in religious terms or whatever it is, forgive one another? I said, are we really forgiving, or are we really forgetting? The only thing in this thing, like, we're learning to stop being angry and harboring any resentment towards someone. That is what forgiveness is all about. We're just trying to, and whatever it is, that by that we build up our own self, which is our own self in that process. And also, when you talk about the forget it's just that we repress these things then and so on. Because my sister and brother, it's just like if someone come and steal your big money now, which you was hoping to travel to Jamaica to, you was travel to, you want to travel somewhere, you want to go and do something or whatever it is, and so on. Are you going to bring that money again in front of that person's eye so that that person come and, I mean, you will always have something, you see, this is where the trustworthy and something we begin to play on you. So it's just like what we say, we repress it. We play, I mean, in the backyard language of the African say, it's like, I mean, play along, forget along. You understand? I think that's what's taking place in us. But, even in our relationship and everything, there are certain things. That's why that wound, we have to be careful for that wound not to be there most times. Because this thing will be coupled. Okay, my brother, say something here.
No. Okay. Sister Sandra, you because we're coming to the end now.
No, we're coming to the end, and he's just we could be here for another however long, but it's just being respectful.
Again, brother Julius, you come right at the last minute.
He wasn't doing a lastminute.com, but he's jumped on two things, and the last one because he started speaking about in terms of the trees and not cutting it down, but then he's moved on to another subject from a forgiveness which we were talking about earlier on, which again, mindful of time, thank you for your thoughts, brother Julius. But next time round it needs to be even earlier. Even so we can converse
in a way that it can be so nice that you just want to hear it and so on. But then when I look at it, I say, wow, I will be in lastminute.com because I'm just digesting what Sister Sandra giving, what Brother Aspen giving, Joshua. But then I just pick one or two of these points. And then, Anyway, look.
All right, next time.
Rise up to you and enjoy the sun in Jamaica. And I hope to see me in them sunshine materials too, because I need it. I need for real, not people to go and come again, but to stay over there.
One-way ticket.
Yeah, man, one-way ticket. We need now,
Yeah. I heard that one. Sister Sandra, brief conclusion as we come right on the top of the hour now.
We have covered a number of subjects. I think the one that holds out for me is that forgiveness in order to move forward.
All right.
Which will then come back to what's our legacy.
Yes, definitely.
But thank you, family, for for joining, listening. Next time round, dial in. Let's have that conversation.
Definitely. At the top of the hour, as we have reached now, right? We should be going over to our griot, right, Brother Kwame. So let's see what happens, and let's do this, okay? So let's go out with this one here. Greetings and thank you for joining us on the Galaxy Rising Show.
Children, get on the Israelite bus. Get on the bus. Sit by the wayside looking as though you get lost.